Welcome to the fourth lesson in our screenwriting course, brought to you by TAIM Africa. In today's lesson, we're going to explore an essential part of storytelling, genres and narrative arcs. Genres are the framework that helps guide your story, and the narrative arc is the structure that helps keep your audience engaged from the beginning to the end. By the conclusion of this lesson, you will understand the different genres, how to choose the best one for your story, and how to shape a compelling narrative arc that will hook your audience and hold their attention. What is genre? Genre refers to the category or type of story you're telling. It sets the tone and expectations for your audience. Genres help the audience decide what kind of emotional experience they will have when watching your film or reading your script. For example, comedy makes people laugh. Horror aims to scare. Romance focuses on love stories. Genres are a key part of the storytelling process because they provide a roadmap for how your story will unfold. Each genre comes with certain conventions or rules, and understanding these will help you structure your screenplay in a way that satisfies your audience. Let's take a look at some of the most common genres and their conventions. Comedy. This genre focuses on humor and light-hearted situations. Comedies often feature misunderstandings, exaggerated characters, or humorous situations that lead to a positive resolution. For example, in the movie The Hangover, a group of friends experience wild, funny adventures during a bachelor party gone wrong. Drama. This genre deals with serious subjects and realistic characters facing emotional or moral dilemmas. Dramas often focus on character development and emotional storytelling. For example, The Pursuit of Happiness is a drama that tells the true story of a man struggling with homelessness while trying to provide for his son. Action. This genre is packed with excitement, stunts, and physical challenges. Action films typically involve heroes overcoming high-stakes obstacles, often with fight scenes or chases. For example, Mad Max: Fury Road is an action-packed film filled with intense car chases and explosive scenes as the protagonist fights for survival. Horror. This genre is aimed at scaring the audience. Horror films play on our deepest fears and often include supernatural elements, gore, or psychological tension. For example, The Conjuring uses paranormal activity to create fear and suspense in a haunted house. Romance. This genre centers on a love story, usually between two characters. Romance films explore the ups and downs of relationships and often conclude with a resolution in love. For example, The Notebook is a classic romance about two people from different backgrounds who fall in love despite the odds. Science fiction. This genre explores futuristic, scientific, or technological themes. Sci-fi films often take place in space, alternate dimensions, or feature advanced technology. For example, Inception takes viewers into the world of dreams, blending science and fantasy to explore the mind. Fantasy. This is the genre set in imaginary worlds, often with magic, mythical creatures, and epic quests. Fantasy films allow for escapism and imaginative storytelling. For example, The Lord of the Rings transports viewers to Middle-earth, a land full of hobbits, elves, and wizards. Thriller. This genre is built on suspense and tension. Thrillers often include twists and turns to keep the audience on the edge of their seat. For example, Gone Girl is a thriller that explores the mystery of a woman's disappearance, with psychological twists along the way. Documentary. This genre focuses on real-life events, people, or subjects. Documentaries aim to inform or reveal truths to the audience. For example, 13th is a documentary that explores the history of racial inequality in the United States, focusing on the prison system. When deciding on a genre for your story, consider the emotional impact you want to have on your audience. Ask yourself, do you want to make them laugh? Comedy. Do you want to inspire or move them emotionally? Drama. Do you want to shock or thrill them? Thriller or horror. Understanding your audience's expectations for a particular genre will help you shape your story and stay true to the conventions. However, feel free to blend genres if it serves your story. For example, romantic comedies mix romance with humor, while action thrillers combine fast-paced action with suspenseful plot twists. What is a narrative arc? The narrative arc is the structure that guides the progression of your story. It outlines how your characters develop, how conflicts are introduced and resolved, and how the story reaches its climax and conclusion. The most common structure is the 3-act structure, which we'll focus on here. Act 1, the setup. This is where you introduce the world, the characters, and the central conflict. The audience should understand who the protagonist is, what they want, and what's standing in their way. The inciting incident usually occurs here, which is the event that sets the story in motion. For example, in The Lion King, Act 1 introduces Simba, his father Mufasa, and the kingdom. The inciting incident is when Scar, Simba's uncle, plots to overthrow the throne. Act 2, the confrontation. This is the longest part of your story and is where most of the conflict occurs. The protagonist faces obstacles and challenges that prevent them from achieving their goal. The midpoint is a crucial turning point where the stakes are raised. For example, in The Hunger Games, Act 2 follows Katniss as she struggles to survive in the arena, forming alliances and facing deadly challenges. Act 3, the resolution. The final act is where the story reaches its climax and the central conflict is resolved. It's the point where the protagonist confronts their greatest obstacle and either succeeds or fails. The story concludes with the denouement, where the loose ends are tied up, and the audience sees the outcome of the protagonist's journey. For example, in The Dark Knight, Act 3 climaxes with Batman's showdown with the Joker, and the resolution shows Gotham's struggle between chaos and order. To build a compelling arc, follow these key steps. Know your protagonist's goal. What does your main character want, and why? The clearer their goal, the more your audience will root for them. For example, in Rocky Balboa wants to prove himself by winning a major boxing match, despite being an underdog. Introduce conflict. Conflict is the heart of any story. Without it, there's no drama. Your protagonist should face both external, physical, situational, and internal, emotional, psychological conflicts. For example, in Spider-Man, Peter Parker's external conflict is fighting villains, but his internal conflict is balancing his personal life with his responsibilities as Spider-Man. Raise the stakes. As your story progresses, the stakes should continually rise. The consequences of failure should become more severe. For example, in Jurassic Park, the stakes increase as the dinosaurs escape and put all the characters in mortal danger. Climax and resolution. The climax is the highest point of tension in your story. This is where the protagonist faces their greatest challenge. After the climax, your resolution should provide closure, even if the ending is open-ended. For example, in The Matrix, the climax occurs when Neo confronts Agent Smith in the final battle, and the resolution shows Neo fully embracing his role as the One. In this lesson, we've covered genres, their conventions, and how to choose the right one for your story. We also explored the narrative arc and the 3-act structure, which are essential for crafting a well-paced, engaging screenplay. In the next video, we're going to look at character development and dialogue, arguably two of the most important elements in screenwriting. You'll learn how to create multidimensional characters that audiences will care about, and how to write dialogue that feels natural and purposeful. Keep pushing forward with your writing, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you for learning with TAIM Africa.